Sales track review. Last week we talked about the litmus test. This week we are going to be talking about setting the appointment in stone. And our litmus test was really a series of questions that we put to the individual, and it's scaling them. And it's on a scale of 1 to 5. Where does X fall into your priority realm? And we found out that through the litmus test, what we want to do is we want to be very careful how we take this information over to the client. We want to send them videos and live webinars, and we want to do a follow-up appointment. Now, this is our actual recruiting process, and if you notice, number 1 there is the first 6 lessons of sales track. That is how you're going to gain interest, and they're listed down there below. So we always love to review just our basics, which is our whom do I start, 15-second commercial, qualifying questions and tie-downs, personal and borrowed story, the litmus test, and setting the appointment in stone. And we know that if we're talking about an organic conversation, it doesn't necessarily mean that those 6 items have to all fall in the sequence except for number 1. The number 1 item on there, with whom do I start, should be the first thing that you do with any new agent that's coming on. It should be the first thing that you do. If you run into a stale period in your business, go back into your old logs, your old phone logs, and find names and build a new list of people that maybe were very cold, didn't get anywhere. Start with those people again and start making phone calls again and sending out emails. The process of recruiting is to build a pipeline, constantly be meeting new people, replacing people in that pipeline. So from last week, what we really gleaned off of the litmus test was, allow for silence. No matter how difficult or uncomfortable that may be for you, allow them to process the information. I myself am a person that gives pretty quick responses to information that's given to me. I'm finding that I take a little bit more time now than I used to, let's say, 20 years ago. That was a big problem for me, was giving my pitch and then sitting there in silence. I would always want to say something else to try to edge them towards the sale. And I really found out that this idea of stating your case and being quiet, the way I heard it was state your case and shut up, which isn't very polite, but that's the way I heard it. It really works, and different people need different amount of time to process. Wait until the prospect answers your question before moving on. If they give you a secondary question, don't really answer your question, but answer you with a question. Say, either answer that question quickly or say, can we put a pin in that? Let me go back to my original question here. On that scale of 1 to 5, where do you think you are in this or that or whatever? And that litmus test can be moved and used throughout your entire process, from the very beginning conversations all the way to the closing. You can actually use what they rated certain things on that 1 to 5 scale in your closing. Well, I thought you said you were a 5 about starting a small business, and I thought you said you were a 5 about what it was you saw with Worth Unlimited, the tools and the videos and everything. What is holding you up and moving forward and joining? The other thing is do not coach the prospect and do not coax the prospect. You want people on your team that are hungry, people that are looking to make money, people that want to build a business and want to do something that is going to make a difference. Be observant, be engaged with your prospect in this recruiting process. Take key hints from them on their hot points of where they light up and what gets them excited when they start talking, wildly. Do remember this, the heading on this is takeaways from last week. Do remember that a takeaway, even in prospecting, can be a good thing, but you have to be very careful and you have to know what you're doing to say, maybe you aren't a good fit for this, or, maybe right now the timing is not right. But do remember, not everyone is a good fit. Just because they can breathe on a mirror, just because they have a pulse, does not mean they will make a good team member. You don't want to spend a lot of time answering questions for people that do not do any work. You want to make sure that the people that you're bringing in are supplying names, they're getting appointments, they're asking for your assistance. But this also comes to you. I see all too many agents recruit somebody in, show them the basics in one 35 or 45-minute conversation, direct them to get onto the Monday night webinar, and then they don't work with them. And so for me, that's where there's a big disconnect, is we need more of that team feeling of when you bring somebody in, one 45-minute or 1 hour conversation or even 2 is not enough to really train that individual. You should have, with new people you brought in, at least a weekly follow-up. Where are you this week? Did you get on the Monday night webinar? Did you get your training? What videos did you watch? How many people did you get in touch with? Remember, when you bring somebody in, you want them to go to work. Take advantage when the opportunity presents itself. And all we mean by that is you may not have to go through all these steps. These people may have heard of Worth Unlimited. They may not have heard of Worth Unlimited. They may be absolutely ripe for getting into a business. They may have a track record. They may have been in entrepreneurial sales or direct sales or networking or multi-level, or they might be in the service industry. Always take advantage of an opportunity when somebody says, yes, I want to join. That can be without even that really strong interview process with them. If they're like, yeah, I really want to go, I'm an insurance agent, I've been a realtor, I want to get involved in this, I want to offer it to my clients, get them in. Take advantage of it immediately. Don't talk yourself out of the sale, so to speak. They have to have a good idea of what the program is, and that's why Dr. Joan Hackenstadt always starts with the program. Introducing all prospects to the program. I start with the program in everything that I do with prospects and with sales. They have to have that buy-in for the program, for the idea, the concept, the goal, the mission, if they're going to do anything with the product. All right, so recruiting part 5. This is actually part 6. That's my fault there. But recruiting part 5, that's okay. We're going to be talking about setting the appointment in stone. Now, I know we have gone over the appointment many times, but the appointment is a very integral part of your sales process. You may have 1 appointment, you may have 2 appointments, you may have 4 appointments, you may have 5 appointments, but each one of your appointments must follow kind of a sequence, a rhythm, so you don't forget details that are going to be very important. The other reason that you go through each one of these steps is at the end of each step, you're getting a confirmation from the client. So you're getting a multiple series of yeses and confirmation and agreement to move forward with you, to take the next step with you. And that is something that's very important when you're setting the appointment in stone, is what are the prospect's next steps? What are your next steps? How are you going to go about it? Eliminating any of these fundamentals drastically reduces your chances of success. The steps we've covered so far should have led you up to this point. So your sales track, your videos, things of this nature should have led you up to now you're ready to have a real appointment about talking about the business, talking about the product, really getting into the nuts and bolts of it and seeing if this is a good fit for them. Follow the steps. Let them know what to expect. I'm going to send you an email with information about Worth Unlimited, the program, the opportunity, some videos to watch. We have so much material back there that I want you to go in the back office, the agent portal, and I want you to watch the videos. I want you to pick what is good for each client. But if you're dealing with prospects, anything and everything that you do should have the compensation in it, whether you send them the compensation video or you send them the compensation written PDF, which is what I would do. After watching the compensation video, I know our compensation. I think it's a little bit confusing. It's outdated as well. We will be working on putting together another compensation video for you all. I would send them the PDF of that, but the product videos, we have the live presentations, John's presentation, my presentation, the regular Worth Account program, all of the live videos, but make sure if it's a prospect, you're sending them that PDF on the comp plan. And if you have never looked over the PDF on the comp plan, I would suggest you pull it up, print it out, and read it and highlight areas. If there's anything you don't understand in that compensation program, as an agent, one of your main jobs is recruiting. And understanding the compensation plan and how to take advantage of that compensation plan will always be to your advantage and always speak to an individual's value proposition if they're already getting ready to take that leap into joining the company. Set a follow-up appointment on anything you do with a client. Don't just say, here, watch this video, or here, go to this site, or here. Set a follow-up appointment. Make it a business situation. I'm going to send you these videos. I want to set up an appointment for 24 to 48 hours at the outside that you will commit to take a watch of these, especially if they are going to be an agent for you. You want to see how they respond to being directed and to being held to a timeline. Are they responsible? Do they do what they say? Do they honor their word? Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Everything done within 24 to 48 hours, hopefully, and follow up through that process. This is very important. Your business is built on that follow-up. After you have viewed the material, I will be asking you questions regarding the videos and compensation plan to see if they align with your desire and skill set. Now, you can come up with whatever language you want, but you want to inform them after you've sent them the video, you're sending them off to them, what is going to be coming their way. At that time, I would also like your input to see if we are a good fit for you, and what you're really doing is, are they a good fit for us, and answer any questions you may have. We will set up a second appointment for that purpose. Now, we all know on that second appointment, you don't sit down and say, okay, do you have any questions? Because you'll just be there for hours. They'll have question after question. Say, you always start after you send the information off. I want you to make a note of this. After you've sent the videos, after they've watched the presentation, after you've done a demo, whatever it is, that you did on the web or sent them or had them watch, you want to sit down on that appointment where you're going to review that material, and the first thing out of your mouth should be, what did you like best about what you saw? Get them talking about what they liked, what they saw, and if they answer one and they say, and they go silent and say, wow, that's great, I like that. Is there anything else you really liked? And just try to keep them on the liked and show them how they can integrate what they liked into their business, their situation, so that it works for them, so that it's doable. Yes, I'm very interested in the Worth Account opportunity. Send me the information. I ask that you review the material within 24 to 48 hours. Can you do that? They reply yes, that they can. If somebody can't watch, let's say, 45 minutes of video over a 2-day period, the chances of them going and actually making cold calls, if they're working another job or whatever, is going to be pretty slim. So hold them to the fire. Let's go ahead and set up our follow-up appointment. Now, the follow-up appointment, you follow the same steps you did when you set up, your first appointment when you're doing a sale or any appointment that you do. What evening this work would work best for you? Tuesday or Thursday? You could use Monday and Wednesday. The point is, you want to try in all instances to give your client only 2 options. That's really what you're trying to do here. Have you ever seen a guy that's hungry go to a buffet, and he stands there with a plate, a fork, and a knife, and he looks around for a little while before he decides off in the direction? It's because he has so many choices. If you're given the option, like at a wedding, of having fish or having the chicken, you only have 2 options. You're going to make a choice of one or the other. And that's this concept. That's this idea. And I want you to understand that in setting the appointment in stone, that piece is very important, that you give them just 2 choices. They could come back and be difficult and say Friday evening. You could be difficult and say Friday doesn't work. I'm going to have to move you to next week, showing that you're busier than they are. There's a lot of different ways. I'm trying to show you that it's not always going to go the way you want, but you could say, well, what would be better, 6 p.m. or 8 p.m.? And they say, how about 7:30? I'm just finishing with dinner. Through this piece, you're making decisions in your mind with this individual. Do I want to hold to my guns and push them out a week? Do I want to say, well, if Tuesday or Thursday doesn't work, is there any way you can work out Wednesday if Friday is the only other day that you have? My Friday looks pretty busy, but you want to be careful because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself. And when they come up with a time, say it's Friday or nothing, that you've already put your foot out there that you cannot do Friday, and you now pushed them into the following week or Saturday or Sunday or something along those lines. So in this process, really look, be in your phone, your smartphone. If you're still using a day planner, look in that. If you're using a pad, whatever it is, when you're looking with the client to make sure that you're not just bending to their will, but at the same token, you're taking advantage if they truly seem interested. Let them close. Would you like to meet at the home or office or my home or office? Those are the two options, home or office for me, home or office for you. Not applicable if you're doing that a live video with them. They say my home, my schedule is filling up pretty quickly, but I have some time available to help you Friday evening, April 3rd, 7:30 p.m. at your home. Does that work for you? They reply, yes. Now, this next section here, all parties present, when you're recruiting people, many times you are doing a one-legged appointment. For sales, when you're selling the program, there is never any value unless they are truly single. Like they don't live with anyone, no one helps them with their finance, they are truly on their own and single. A one-legged appointment in sales sometimes will work, but in recruiting, more often than not, a lot of your recruiting appointments are going to be one-legged appointments. It's going to be one or the other in the group that wants to get involved that will expose the other to it. Now, if they say, I do still want you to ask this question, is there anybody else who would like to get involved? Because they may have a business partner. They may have a living partner, a spouse, or, whatever that looks like, that is making a significant income in finance or something, and they're working as a teacher. So this piece about the one-legged appointment, I want to be a little careful. It's more in the prospecting arena that you're kind of digging. Is there anybody else that you'd like to get your eyes on this, at the same time to get their opinion? Anybody else you can think of recruiting? Anybody else that might be interested in something like this? So do know in the recruiting aspect, that's where the all parties present comes in. If someone else is going to be involved in the decision-making process, make sure they're there. If they say, oh, yeah, I don't join anything, I don't do anything without talking to my wife, I don't join anything, I don't do anything without talking to my tax guy, I don't do anything, I don't join anything without talking to the last guy that recruited me into the last thing I was in. Whatever that looks like, if someone else is going to be involved in this process, and if they're possibly a recruit, you definitely want them there. And if they're a tax guy or realtor, you want them there because you don't want this individual trying to explain what they just saw to somebody else in the professional arena. Another party introduced, yes, my wife, husband, significant other, tax guy. Can we touch base with them right now to see if they're available? What are you doing there? You're helping this individual, if you're trying to recruit them, to find out, is there other people out there that would be interested in this? Or is it somebody that is going to be directly involved in the decision-making process? As I said earlier, I don't join ABC. I don't do ABC without talking to this person. You have to make sure that person's going to be there if they're the decision. I would, and I have, say, can we get in touch with them right now? Can you try them on the phone just to see, since we're setting up an appointment, as you know, my schedule's filling up. Fridays are pretty tight. Is there any way you could touch base with that person real quick and just see if they can be available for the appointment for Friday night at 7:30 that we just set up? If they can't get in touch with them, move forward with the appointment, but make sure your follow-up's real good. Hey, I was great talking to you today, and we set our appointment for, 2 days from now. You mentioned to me that your wife or whoever may be involved in the decision-making process, or your partner might want to get his eyes on this. Were you able to get in touch with them? Will they be present for that meeting? And make your determination from there based on the gravity of that information. Confirm the other party. Yes, my wife can make the appointment. Okay, let's make sure we're both clear. We have an appointment set for Friday evening, April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. at your home with you and your wife. Is that correct? And all you're looking for there is a yes. And if they hem and haw and they move around, just, what haven't I answered yet? What more information do you need? Set in stone. I was raised to be a man and woman of my word. Remember, you only gave them 2 options throughout the process, mornings, evenings, 2 days a week. home or office. Now you're going to really kind of seal the deal. I was raised to be a man or woman of my word. Now I'm going to be at your home this Friday, April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. ready to go, and you and your wife will be there, correct? And you're looking for another yes again is what you're looking for out of those individuals. Hold people accountable. But I tell you, even setting as many appointments as I have this way, it has a great success rate. The number one most successful way to have your appointment show up is to do the follow-up. Make sure you send a follow-up email that recants a little, something you enjoyed in the conversation or something you learned about them, that you're very excited for the appointment. You think that what they're going to see could potentially be, life-changing. I don't know if you want to use those big and dramatic words, but what you're about to see is going to be very exciting for you and very exciting for me to be able to show it to you. Make sure you do that follow-up, and make sure you do a follow-up call the day of your appointment. I always do a follow-up call the day of appointment. Make sure you have what you need. Great, awesome, fantastic. I'm really looking forward to meeting with you and your wife and chatting with you again about this powerful opportunity and our program. May I have your cell number and your email address so I can send you an appointment confirmation. It's just an easy way in there. You may already have this information. This may, in fact, have been your second meeting. You may have met them at a BNI meeting. You called them up on the phone. You talked to them. You kind of gave them a rough introduction of our product. Told them at the BNI meeting you'd be in touch with them. You called them on the phone. Let them know you were going to send them over the videos, or maybe you met somewhere for coffee and you're going to send them over the videos. Everything you do with the client should be an appointment. So here you go. Inform the prospect. Just a reminder, we'll be going over our business model. I'll be asking you questions regarding the videos and compensation plan, see if they align with your desired skill set. At that time, I'd also like to have your input to see if we're a good fit. We've already kind of said this statement. You can say it in a couple different places with your client, but always keep them informed. Make sure you send them a follow-up email the same day with a cordial note, something like, great meeting you, speaking with you today, and I look forward to the upcoming appointment. I loved our conversation about Boom. I'm going to look forward to meeting your wife. Then verify the appointment particulars, include the date, time, location, and parties to be present. Also remind them of the rules of engagement you have discussed, that at that time I'm going to be answering questions about compensation, about the program, about our company. I'm going to be asking you some questions, so I know that you watched the videos, that you got involved, that you did your homework. Just keep your prospect informed and follow up. Make sure you call them one day before your appointment and at the latest 5 to 6 hours before the appointment to confirm that nothing has changed, that you're still on a go. So in summary, the sales track process is best used for recruiting as well as sales. Don't reinvent the wheel. Follow a duplicatable, replicatable system that can be easily learned and executed by others. That is our sales track. So gain their interest in the videos in the webinar. Do an appointment follow-up within 24 to 48 hours. Follow-up appointment and answer questions. What did you like best about what you saw? I want to make sure that I'm driving that home. On any appointment that you have with them, always ask that question first. Shake hands, nice seeing you, it's great. Hey, what did you like the best about what you saw? What did you like the best about what you heard? What did you like about the best about the Monday night webinar that I sent you to? What did you like the best? Get them moving in a very positive manner. Do a three-way call if needed to close, and close them. For recruiting, target that $250 or 90-day trial. You do get commission on the $250 sign-up fee, whether they convert or not. And begin training and support, which is our 5 steps to success. Give your prospects 2 options. Remember, this is an interview with a goal in mind. All meetings should be appointments, and recruiting is the lifeblood of your business. Make no mistake that anything and everything that you do with this company is going to be consummate with recruiting new people in, either selling them the product or recruiting them in to the program itself. I truly love the recruiting process. I truly love the system that we have in place. I encourage every single person on this call, do something uncomfortable today. Do something to get out of your comfort zone. We've had Dr. Joan Hackenstadt on. She's been on every single call I believe we've ever had, unless we've gone on vacation. And I would just love to hear some comments from Joan at the very end of this presentation today. So I'm just going to run over here to Joan real quick and just, Dr. Joan?
Hi there.
Hello, Dr. Joan. So,
how are you today?
How are you doing? I am doing wonderful, and I hope you are doing the same.
Good. Yes.
Well, we went through everything on the setting the appointment in stone, and I know, this sales track is something that you've used for many, many years. It's not new to you. It's not really new to me. For many of the people on the call, it may be somewhat newer. They're just really beginning to get their teeth into it or learn it. With that appointment process, is there anything that you would like to drive home that I did not drive home? I know you always have a little bit different perspective, but is there anything that you would like to leave the field with?
Oh, thanks for asking. I think, once again, you did a phenomenal job, and you've really touched on everything. I think it's kind of important to emphasize that between the time of this initial discussion where you're going through all of the steps of sales track, you're doing your commercial, you are asking lots of questions, you're doing your story, you're asking litmus tests, and you're setting the appointment in stone. Between the time that you have that appointment and, that discussion and the time that you have your appointment, they have an assignment. And although I'm not really all that picky when I'm doing a client sale, I am pretty darn picky about people actually doing their assignment for agent recruiting, because this is going to tell you a lot of information. Their assignment is either watch videos or to attend meetings. If they don't do that, if they don't watch the videos, if they don't attend the meeting, then what does that tell you? That tells you they may not be the best fit, the best candidate as an agent. So you really do have to keep that in mind. You're giving them an assignment for a reason. You want to make sure that they're coachable. If they can't invest the time to watch those meetings or to watch the videos, they can invest the time to attend the meeting, then they just may not be a good fit. Now, I can't emphasize enough that you do not want to say, hey, I'll just follow up with you in a couple days. Make sure you have a solid appointment. I do use the phrase typically, I was raised to be a person of my word. I am going to give you a call at March 5th at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're going to be available, correct? So I do use that phrase to help give that, that solidification of that appointment. And also, it's meant to really tap into their psyche a little bit. You're really kind of saying, are you a person of your word? Because I'm going to call you, and I'm expecting you to be there, and I'm expecting that your homework's done. So you're really kind of doing a little play on their psyche a little bit. A couple things to emphasize on that. That follow-up appointment should be 12 to 24 hours from a live meeting. Live meetings have a lot of energy. People are super excited, and you really want to capitalize on that energy. So if you're not going to attend the live meeting, maybe they're going to be in where Darlene and Harry are doing a meeting, and you're in Arizona, you can't attend, that's okay. Still invite them. Just make sure that you have a follow-up appointment scheduled within 12 to 24 hours of that actual meeting. If you do have them attend a live meeting, I would also send them an email. That email needs to include their address and their time of the meeting, just to remind them. Your first and last name, that sounds kind of silly, but you'd be surprised. Your agent ID and your agent website, www.worthunlimited.com/your agent ID. Oftentimes, people will become an agent during those meetings. There's so much energy, and you'd be shocked at how many people actually sign up right then and there. They need to have your information in front of them so that they can sign up. So I send that email. I advise them to print the email and bring it with them. I kind of liken it to that being their ticket to get in the door. So you want to have them print that and have that with them. Now, your follow-up appointment for video watching is about 24 to 48 hours, if at all possible. That is your goal. And as Max said, I do also do the 2 times. I do it slightly different. I usually give one morning, one afternoon. I might say, gosh, tomorrow's Tuesday, is tomorrow at 4 o'clock good for you, or is Wednesday at 10 a.m. better? So I kind of narrow it down a little bit faster than that, but please always give those two options and do what's best for you in following MAC or following just the two options. It's really what comes down to what fits your personality better on that one. But again, it does need to be that solid appointment, and ask them, make sure all decision makers are present. I like sending the calendar invite either via Google or Outlook. I think that's really helpful. I do usually text a reminder the day before, or I do have an assistant. My assistant may actually call them to remind them and confirm the appointment the day before. If they need to reschedule, it's rescheduled right then and there. We don't wait. Because quite frankly, you really don't want to be stuck in voicemail jail. But that appointment within a certain guideline or certain time frame is kind of important because you want to strike while the iron's hot. It also gives people a deadline. People are procrastinators by nature, so you really want to make sure that they have a deadline on when they need to complete and watch those videos. Otherwise, if you just say, I'll follow up with you in a few days, then a few days comes around, oh, I haven't gotten to watch the videos yet because, well, they didn't have a deadline. They didn't have a day when their homework was due. So you do need to give them that deadline. And really just remind yourself that your job is to guide them through the process. Get used to saying the next step is. If you followed the first steps of Sales Track, you've done a solid commercial. You've asked a lot of questions, and you've really focused on getting to know them. And your response and discussion about Worth Unlimited has been identifying points of interest that have correlated or related to what they said was important to them. Setting the appointment in stone shouldn't be hard. So your job is really just to guide them. You would simply say, gosh, the next step is I'm going to send you some videos. Watch these videos before the next appointment so that we can make sure that I can answer any questions that you may have, and we can decide whether or not this is a good fit for you. You can make an educated decision about whether or not this is right for you. So get used to saying the next step is. That's really what I use to guide people through the process. So, Mac, again, you did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much for all that you do. Great job.
Thank you. And as always, good wrap up to everything that we did. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. And just remember, dream big, start small, but most of all, start. That's Simon Sinek. And I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. That's Michael Jordan, and I think everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. So if you have any desire to get in touch with me for any situation, there's my email and my phone number. Support can handle most situations with your accounts, activations, passwords, operation of the program, anything along those lines. And so we thank everyone for joining us this evening for the Worth Agent Update and Sales Track Training for March 4th, 2019. Let's get out there and do it big. Let's get out there and do it right. But let's get out there and do something right now. This is Mac Saunders saying bye-bye for now.